he touches on things to do with what it is to be human that transcend time periods and cultural periods. That doesn't mean you can't look at him from different cultural and sociological and philosophical perspectives. And I think, he's rich material there as well. But at the same time, I've been in so many times in my life when just a little Shakespeare, line will just pop in. You go, yep, that sums it up nicely. Whether it's a time of tragedy or love or fear or whatever, these lines just get into you and speak to you. So yeah, I think he still matters a lot. I think he's still highly relevant.
Shakespeare, the writer, appeals to me, and I find him constantly giving me a pep talk on how to use language the best it can be used. So I love his use of syntax, the order of the words and the possibilities he shows there, but also that he dusts off old words and puts them to new purposes, and he coins new words. And I particularly like how he will take a noun like monster and change it into a verb, like Coriolanus says, to hear my nothing's monstered. I find that a really powerful use of that. And I think there's a lot of writers today who would say Shakespeare is more our contemporary than any other writer, and he shows the way to make language strange and new as well.
Shakespeare Matters, to me, not because he was Shakespeare, but because he was a dramatist. I like this notion of throwing the microscope on human life and holding it up and saying, what does this mean to me? I'm a big fan of the American playwright August Wilson and Fences, and Denzel Washington's just done this new play about it, and he speaks often about this, taking this piece out and holding it up. And I think that's what he does. It's not that I really care about Caesar the emperor. I don't care. But I do care about what happens when you surround yourself with so much power that you don't see what's going on around you, or these trappings of power. What happens when you are so weak that you can be easily led by other people? If I'm a 14, 15, 16-year-old kid, that's probably one of the most important questions that any kid at that age has to ask. And as a parent now, as an educator of high school kids, again, very important questions. Shakespeare is important because he asks those questions all the time.
Of all writers that I've read over the years, Shakespeare, as much as anybody, gives insights into the human condition, often in a way that no other writer does.
If we think about Romeo and Juliet, rushing into love, the dangers of doing that. Think about Hamlet. Hamlet's disgust with a corrupt government, and thinking, how do we show our disgust? How do we show our anger at the corrupt government without being corrupted ourselves?
When I was at uni, I read a piece by a critic, I can't remember his name, I'd say it if I could, who suggested that if you were looking for the human condition writ on a page, there were two authors you could go to. You could go to Dante for the depth of human experience, or you could go to Shakespeare for the breadth. And I think that's a really telling point. I can't think of a single experience that someone would have in their lifetime that is not in some way expressed or dealt with through Shakespeare's work.